This is not about good, bad, right, wrong, 100% on, 100% off, morally good, morally bad. This is a numbers game. Hi, welcome to the Judy Torel Show, where I explore topics intended to optimize every body 50, 60, 70, and above. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Judy Torel Show. I'm Judy Torel, and I am a health coach. I am a nutrition coach. I am a fitness coach. I am a master's degree psychology practitioner with a specialty in addictions. I am an ultra distance runner with 4 races over 100 miles. And I am a 10-time Ironman with 11 on the docket for this year. Number 11. So I am an endurance athlete myself, and I have been in the fitness industry for 40 years, and I am 59 years old. And once I turned 50, I decided that I wanted to specialize in the 50-plus market, men and women both, and providing information and special. I made it my specialty to know what is the information that 50-plus people need to hear, because I saw that there was a tremendous, what I see as a void in my industry where, people were going to programs that were not necessarily appropriate and age specific for the 50-plus market, either getting hurt or the information that's not appropriate to your stage of life. So I have been specializing in that for 9 years, and you are now joining me on episode number 4 of my 6-part series on what are some of the most common mental scripts that people are running when it comes to losing weight and following a food plan that will take people off the plan that is actually working. And how this shows up in my office is somebody will say to me, I got the plan and I know what to do, but I just got to get myself to do it. So somehow I have the information that I need, but I'm not able to follow it. And so I will tell you that there's 2 skill sets that you need when it comes to eating plans and weight loss. And the first one is you got to get the right information for you. You've got to, do your research. You've got to hook up with someone like myself that individualizes programs. You've got to get the right macronutrient balance. You've got to get the right portions. You've got to get the right meal timing. You've got to get the right energy in that's going to be at a deficit for what you're burning. And there's definitely nuts and bolts information that you need to have, and it needs to be designed stage of life and hormonally what's going on with you. And you need to get that information. And a lot of people are not having that, don't have that information. And that's one of the reasons why they might fail at a plan. It's just not the right plan for them. However, you can get the right information, so that's the part 1. But a lot of people come into my office, they got their plan from me. And then, 4 weeks later, 5 weeks later, they're like, yeah, I started off and then, I know what I need to do now, but I just got to get myself to do it. So, give me a couple more weeks and I'm going to get myself to do it. And I look at them and I say, all right, do you think there's going to be some sort of divine intervention that is going to get you to be able to apply that knowledge? No, because there's a completely different skill set in what you need to do in order to get yourself to follow that knowledge, okay? And that's what this 6-part series is about. This is number 4. And what I'm doing is I'm presenting the top 6 cognitive distortions, the scripts that someone runs in their head, that their self-talk that is making them fall off the program. And sometimes people know they're doing it, and many times people do not know they're doing it. And even if they do know they're doing it, they don't know what to do to help them to stop doing it so that they can follow the plan. All right, so with that as our backdrop, this is number 4. And the number 4 most common thought pattern that makes people not be able to follow their program is this. And let me set this up for you. So someone's on the plan and they're doing really well, and they're seeing weight loss, and then they had a bad day at work, or they end up going out to dinner and they look at the menu and they don't know what to order, to follow their plan. or they come home from that, stressful day and somebody in their family bought donuts and they're sitting in a container that's clear and you can see through on the counter. Or maybe you went to somebody else's house and they cooked dinner and everything that they're having is like nothing is on your plan. All right, those scenarios in and of themselves are not a problem, but here's the problem. So let's say you have half that donut of the donuts that someone brought home. Or, you had some ziti, white flour ziti, because you went to a sports banquet with your child and all they had was like spaghetti, ziti, and bread with butter. Or you go out to dinner and you're starving, and the first thing they bring to the table is the bread basket, and you're so hungry, before you even know what you're doing, you take a piece of bread, you put butter on it, and you eat the bread, okay? So in all those scenarios, all of which are very common, this is what will happen in the person's head. Oh, I had half that donut. Oh, I had that bread and I put butter on it. Oh, I had that ziti. It's not on my plan. I messed up. That's, I was bad. I messed up my program, and so therefore, I might as well just keep messing it up because I messed up. I wasn't perfect. So having that half a donut, now you have 2.5 more. Having had the bread and butter, you decide to get the fettuccine alfredo with a margarita, and then you also have tiramisu for dessert. You're at the sport banquet and you have the ziti, but now you're going to have bread and butter, and you're going to have the spaghetti with the meatballs, and you're just off to the races, okay? So the thought process that will run the person and then make them fall off their plan is that if I'm not perfect and I don't follow my plan to the T, and I'm in a situation where I might not even have been able to do that, so therefore I fell off it, well then it doesn't matter. I messed up, so I might as well mess it up in a big way. All right? So clearly that would then result in, I know what to do, but I just can't get myself to do it. And that's what happens. They crash and burn. And let me tell you something. When that happens and that thought is what ran that program for that meal or that episode, it is not uncommon now that the person who thought that could be off to the races for not just that meal, but like for possibly weeks at a time before they can reel it back in. Because they're so upset with themselves because in their mind, it's like there's no wiggle room. It's like I either do it perfectly or I'm not going to do it at all. Or if I didn't do it perfectly, then I'm a big loser, and they place a moral judgment on themselves. See, I never do anything right. I'm never going to lose weight. I can't do this perfectly. This is what happens every time. And your brain is off to the races. All right? So clearly, this is the thought pattern that we need to extinct. What are we going to replace it with? We're going to replace it with this. So let's do a little math, okay? So let's do that bread and butter one. So you had a piece of bread and you put a tablespoon of butter on it. So we're talking roughly about 150 to 200 calories. Now, I know when I design plans for people, I've created a calorie deficit for that day somewhere in the range of 500 to 750 calories because that's what the science shows is a sweet spot where there's enough of a deficit where you're going to see weight loss to the tune of about 1 to 2 pounds a week, but not so much of a deficit that you're putting your body into crisis and it will react negatively metabolically in the long run, and that will actually deter your progress on a weight loss program. All right, so you had 200 calories of bread and butter. You're on a 500 to 750 calorie deficit day. 200 from 750 means you're still at a deficit of 550 calories. If you don't let your mind run amok, distort the reality, and then make that 150 or 200 calories off become 1,500 or 2,000. Now you're clearly off the program. You have definitely, negated the deficit for the day, and 3 or 4 days from, the week before, and it's going to take you another week to week and a half to crawl back out of that hole that you just went into, okay? But you wouldn't have to go into the hole if you weren't distorting the thinking and making it be about perfection and making it be about 100% absolutes. Like I'm either 100% in the program or I'm going to be 100% out of the program. So what's the replacement thought that we have to put in here is, recognizing that this is not about good, bad, right, wrong, 100% on, 100% off, morally good, morally bad. This is a numbers game. And so turn it into numbers in your own mind and do a little math in your head. All right, I'm off 200 calories, but that's not destroying my program for the day. So if I can be tolerant of the feeling like I didn't do it perfectly, but yet, not let that be a slide down the slippery slope into the rabbit hole, I'm actually can salvage this and still have had this little slip. So you're turning it into a numbers game. All right, I have a 750 calorie deficit. I just went into it for 200 calories. I'm still in the game. Or maybe you went into it and you do it a 750 calorie. At least that day now is even. You haven't gained weight. All right, you might not have lost that day, but you don't have to backpedal for the next couple of days either. So the way to get yourself to be able to not slide down that rabbit hole when the thought we're trying to eradicate that comes up is, I'm either going to do it 100% right or I'm going to be doing it, or screw it, I was bad. And I'm going to slide all the way down now because I'm like, what? It doesn't matter. Well, in the math world, 200 calories being off for that day, it does matter because it's not the same as being off 2,000 calories. And when you're putting it into like percentages of being off, that can actually help you to recognize that you would be distorting the actual situation by thinking in absolutes and black and whites, good, bad, right, wrong, on, off. And it allows you then to, calm yourself down, talk yourself off the ledge, as I like to tell clients, and then be able to actually continue to practice your plan and make the wiser decision, for the dinner, even though you had the bread and butter, or even have your white flour product for your dinner because you had no other choice, then you can pull some chicken out of something else and a little bit of the salad, and you can actually salvage that in some way, shape, or form. You don't have to go down the rabbit hole. So thinking in absolutes is one of the main ways that people will fall off the program and then say, I know what to do, but I just got to get myself to do it. No, you have to recognize what thought patterns are leading you off the plan and then have a replacement thought ready to put in and then repeat it enough times so that, you start to, that's the new operating system. So the old one becomes extinct. And so for this situation, the old one that we want to extinct is, if I fell off the plan, even just a little bit, then I'm gonna just let the chips fall go where they may, and I'm gonna eat all the chips. If I have one Girl Scout cookie from the sleeve, it doesn't make any difference. I might as well eat the whole rest of the sleeve. Replacement thought. Wait a minute. Let me think about this, not in black and white, but let me do the math. All right, I had one Girl Scout cookie, 150 calories. If I eat the rest of the sleeve, I'm making this number up, 1,200 calories, 150, 1,200. Not the same. I'm only 150 in. I can backpedal out of this. I haven't really done anything wrong yet, unless I let my mind run amok, unless I let my mind make this be about morality and judgment and good and bad and right and wrong and perfect and imperfect. You got to really catch yourself when your mind's going to go down that road, because that is a thought pattern that more often than I would want you to know, I hear over and over again that leads people off their plan. So the old thought, I'm either 100% on or I'm 100% off, replaced with nope, percentages. How many calories was that? How far off am I in my deficit? I still have a deficit. I don't have to go off completely. I can save this day. I can see weight loss on the scale tomorrow, even though I had that half donut, because you can. Okay, so that's my thought number 4, very, very common one. And I just wanted to tell you that if you're seeing value in these 4 that we've covered so far, I do have a book that has 15 distortion thoughts that will run people that you sometimes know you're doing and sometimes you don't, and then the replacements for that. And I'm covering the top 6 that I hear in my room, in my office and with my clients. But this book has 15 of them in there, and the 9 that I'm not covering may be ones that you are running more predominantly. So it would be a tool worthwhile to have in your toolbox. And the title is Think This, Not That, just like we just did, How to Reprogram Your Brain for Weight Loss. Definitely valuable if you're seeing value in the 4 of this series that you've already followed with me. All right, I have 2 more to go. Number 5 and number 6, they're very good. You may be running those, so stay tuned or look for those before you finish the series with me. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you'd like to have access to some of my additional resources, I can be found at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on my website, www.judytorel.com.